Diane, I'm listening to a podcast, Black Lodge Trivia Night. I've never heard so many game aspirations in my life. All right, welcome back to Black Lodge Trivia Night. This is Art. I am not with Patrick and Matt. Based on when this is recording, they are at the Democratic National Convention in Chicago, casting their delegate votes for their respective states. Good luck, gentlemen. Make it count. What are we doing here? We're doing some more, as you can see from the screen here. We're doing a little more Ker Nethalas. So, as you remember last time, I was able to get through, it looks like 5 rooms, and hit a dead end with this creature that I actually, the Umbra Fiend, that I really couldn't do damage to because it's resistant to physical damage. I was needing 6s, I think, to chip away, and then I think it has something that can actually heal it. So I was like, you know what? Because I had another path to go through, I decided I'm just going to backtrack. And I think trying to remember, did I just roll this and I didn't want to do a fight? I figured I'd stop and start the fight here. Maybe that's what I was doing. I was about to enter combat. Resistance to all physical, non-magical damage. Okay. But anyway, so I think what I'm going to do is, as far as I get with this tonight, I was hoping to be able to get through a domain. I don't know if that's going to be possible. I need to check something before we get started, which is, can I retreat out this door? Because if I can't, then it's just like, okay. This thing only has 3 health, so maybe I could chip away at it. But anyway, what I was going to say was, I think once I'm done this evening, this is the 4th session of Ker Nethalas, I might set it aside. And it's not because of the game itself. Obviously, I've been greatly enjoying it. I've picked up, there's 2 Valorian codexes. I think you can get them off of Amazon, maybe drive-thru, I'm not sure. These just came out. They have optional rules. They've got some creature modifiers, some persistent domains. I don't know what that means. But yeah, I see. Basically, they give you little adventures, which I actually think is great. Is this published? It is published by Black Oath. And the reason why I think that's great is because I was sort of talking about, I think I like the starter domain map more than I've enjoyed using the random tiles. And I don't necessarily need it to have like a narrative, like the way like Dragonbane sort of sets up a little bit of something when you're starting the, when you're starting their solo stuff. But I like the idea of, come up with an adventure, like fill in the lore, the backstory, It's kind of a cool setting, which I think I talked about in, I think, the first session of this. So I like the idea that they're sort of developing backstory, the world, the setting, etc. So it looks like the Valorian Codex is sort of like a zine or a zine. It's a zine that goes with Ker Nethalas. Like I said, 2 issues are out. I will definitely be picking up more. So I don't want to just never play Ker Nethalas again. What I actually think I would like to do, because I'm not a huge solo player, is I want to co-op it. Matt and Patrick, see if they're up for it at some point. I don't know when. But that could be my rotation. Just be like, hey, let's just do a bunch of sessions of these, see how far we go. And I'll tell you the reason why I'm sort of like, oh, okay, yeah. This has been great, but let me sort of see what else is out there. Is because I finally got my hard copy of this, and it is Across 1,000 Dead Worlds, also from Black Oath. So it's not like I'm, cheating on Black Oath within a company. It's that I picked up another one of their products, and sci-fi is definitely more of my jam than fantasy. So I'm really curious to see what this can do. And I've started skimming the rules. I got through basically character creation. It seems solid. It's a character creation. It's not like it's a game changer, boys. It's never going to be that. So it's simple system, add this in your roll, see if you get above 20. If you do, you succeed. There's stress. There's, I think there's going to be a lot of like alien kind of mechanics, but I'm really curious to see, when I say alien mechanics, I mean Alien the RPG, stress, fear, horror. But what I'm really curious to see is how it's got tons and tons of tables for exploring worlds. So it's got a cool setting where I think you sort of start in like a space station and you take alien craft out to explore, searching for alien technology. That is the premise of a sci-fi novel that I love called Gateway by Frederick Pohl. There's two halves of that book. One half is sort of this weird psychobabble stuff that doesn't age very well. The other half I find to be this fascinating sci-fi story, which is basically that. I don't know if Black Oath took inspiration from Gateway, but the idea is that, you know, we find this thing filled with alien ships. We don't really know how to fly them. We don't really know what to do with them. But we figure out how to start them and they sort of launch themselves. I think. It's been a long time since I read the book. But I really loved the book at the time. This has vibes of that, and I'll go into it more someday when I finally get to it. But I've sort of started thinking like, oh, maybe I should start setting that up. And it takes me a while to prep. That's why I'm, you know, I start looking at it. I'm like, oh, okay. And then also, you know, like summer's almost over. We're going to be getting back into the rotation, hopefully a little more consistently. I'm up at the moment with our Cold War spy game. So I'd like to focus a little bit more on those things, the rotation. Starting to take a look at across 1,000 Dead Worlds and going from there. But anyway, that's not what we're here for. I'm just rambling. Let's see how it goes. Let's start combat with the Void Weaver. I guess I should bring up my character sheet. It's been a little while since I've played, so apologies for being a little rusty. I guess I should actually get organized here so I can get to the book. Okay, cool. Yeah, because I've got the rule book right here. Not that, again, like it's a little bit outdated because the PDFs are have some errata that's been corrected. They are about to print a new, oh man, is this in England? I think it's coming from England. I don't know where Black Oath Games is located, but I saw something online where they were going to do like a really nice edition that's updated. So I jumped on that. I know Matt jumped on it. A couple of people on our forums jumped on it. A bunch of people in the Alcoholic Adventurer Guild, the AAC, sold a bunch of copies there. So it's nice to hear that this is sort of picking up a little bit of steam, and I hope other people discover it, spend some time with it, have a good time. Yeah, a lot of Black Oath games with the folks I'm chatting with. I forget the other one. There were two. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So here we are. We're going to start combat. Again, I think the way we do it is I do a perception check versus their awareness. Winner is the attacker. They're going to get a +10 to their attacks. My cough is mostly gone. A lot has happened since I last recorded. I spent a week on Cape Cod. It's the ocean air. I actually think there might have been something to that. My congestion really, I don't know if it's just a matter of time or coincidence, but yeah, my congestion really cleared up spending that week out there. Dropped my son off at college. That was so excited for him, so wonderful, but it's so surreal, so weird. This summer's been crazy. I'll tell you, the last 14, 16 months have been some of the most exhausting. Anyway, it was all worth it. There was good things and bad things. There was good things like, you know, drop my son off to college, all the prep that got him there. It all worked out. We're really proud of him. There were hard things like, you know, lost one of my parents, you know, so it was just like this. Oof. Well, both of my parents are gone now, but, you know, my parent passed away. My mom passed away. It's been a lot the last year and a half. Anyway, so I'm going to do this. Let's see. I'm going to do this. But the point is, you know, good things are ahead. And this summer's been a lot for, I know, Matt and Patrick, so I think it's going to be good to get back to the gaming, settling in, cooler weather. Okay, so I'm going to do my perception check. Lost connection to the server, attempting to reestablish. Okay. I think it got it. 78 failed. Let's see what their awareness is. An 11, which is a critical success. Critical success, that might actually mean that it's like they get an ambush. So let's just double check that really quickly, because again, I'm a little rusty, but I think that is something. Opponent type, multiple stat blocks. This is one of those things, again, there's a section called combat encounters. I don't think that's where you want to look. You want to look under rules, and there's a combat subsection there. Initiative and surprise. Let's see, combat. Did I ever find out what happens if you both fail that roll? I think in Across 1,000 Dead Worlds, I think it's just, doesn't matter who passes or fails, it's just whoever rolls highest, you just sort of give that to them when it's an opposed roll. You know, I guess why not? Like it's just a matter of, it's opposed. Like somebody, that way somebody I think comes out and you're not sitting here going, when two people fail, there's no progress. You know, you just, boom. Somebody got higher, somebody got lower. Just go with it. Let's see. Initiative and surprise. Pitch perception versus awareness. Whoever wins gets to act first. I did not try and do any sneak attacks, so I didn't have to worry about stealth. Again, I know I said this last time. I have trouble. I don't know if it's just total problem with retention, which I can definitely see that, but I really have trouble finding the little details. Either side rolls a critical failure. Their opponents attack as if they had surprised them. So maybe that's the trick. There is nothing for getting a critical success. So that's good. Okay. That helps. I think what it is that, because I was thinking about this a little bit, this isn't a problem. I don't know how you get around this. A lot of us, you know, Patrick, Matt, myself, blah, 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 we come from wargaming, and wargame rulebooks are very often written with tons of bullet points, tons of little subsections, so that you don't get like a lengthy paragraph with like stuff inside it. So I think that's what my brain is accustomed to, and that's why sometimes I have trouble picking it out, because it's like buried like in the middle of like a sizable paragraph is the one sentence that I need, instead of being like, boom, bullet point, start, you know. Again, like nobody writes like that for role-playing books, I don't think so. Okay. Chill Void Weaver is going to go first. They're going to get a +10. Their combat skill is a 30, which hopefully helps me out. Nope, not going to give them a 40 bonus. Let's give them a 10 bonus. They roll a 5. Woof. Okay, so that's a success. I'm going to roll my bludgeoning weapons. I've got a 60. Just have to get above 5 and succeed. So let's see if I can pull that off. Oh, man. I think this is going to go very poorly. This might be the first like 37-minute session. Okay, so what do they do? I have to see what kind of attack they do. Let's see if these this D6 works here. It does not, so let's roll a D6. D100, D12, D... Okay, boom. They're going to go with a 4, which is a cosmic distortion magical. The Void Weaver manipulates the fabric of reality, creating a zone of cosmic distortion. Creatures within the room have disadvantage on attack rolls and dodge checks, as the Void's unpredictable energies disrupt their movements and perception. The zone lasts for 2 rounds. Okay, so I got to remember 2 rounds of business right there. Okay. I wonder if there's like a Foundry module where it just like just set like a counter somewhere. Like if I needed to remember 2, for instance, or, you know, I'm doing like these tension dies and all this stuff down here with icons, which are essentially, for if you're curious how the sausage is made, they're characters. I could click on it, and you know, you get like a character sheet, because all I want is the token. But I wonder if there's like other ways to do it that are a little more elegant. Okay, so I'm going to get disadvantage on attack rolls. That's fine. I'm going to do my weapons master. What's emissary? Heal wounds. You're the voice of your deity on the mortal plane. So what do I do? Heal wounds. 1 standard action. Gains exhaustion. That gives me 1d4 wounds. Okay. I'm okay with health right now. Exhaustion at one point was bad. I don't know. Did I? Oh, you know what I did? I think I like collapsed, but I rolled the best one, so I ended up getting XP and then cleared my... Yeah, it was good stuff. Again, that's why like I'm not walking away after the session because of this. It's really good. It's mostly because I really want to start looking at it across 1,000 Dead Worlds. Okay, so we're going to do the weapons mastery, which again, if I can succeed, I get a 10 bonus to my next defensive roll. Got to roll this with disadvantage. I don't mind. It's tough that it's going to make my rolls harder, but at least it's not doing damage to me. 66 is a... So I bomb my my perception check. Then my next roll is 100. Then I just critical fumbled. Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's bring up the tables. Combat. Fumbles. In the process of executing your attack, you trip and slam your head. Your days... Oh my goodness. Days for 2 rounds. Okay. Okay. Okay, so looking up in the rules, I'll bring it up here. Just so you can see it. I don't want this. Or let's get rid of this, maybe. Basically, we want the rules, combat, conditions, days. The days character cannot initiate attacks. So, there you go. Wonder if I just... Can I bring this up? And it leaves that closed. Okay, cool. Okay, so I can't attack for 2 rounds, so I guess the next... I mean, that's fine. The next... I was going to be at a disadvantage 1 more round anyway. Okay. So 2 rounds. Okay. Here's the Void Weaver's next attack. Got a 68, which is a failure. I can't initiate attacks. Can I defend myself in order to create a defensive move? I'm going to say yes. So this is sort of a, well, this isn't officially a dodge check, but it is sort of a, I would do this at disadvantage, I guess. 25 or 52. Either way is success. So it's going to trigger a defensive move. Reduce your opponent's armor by 1 in 1 random location until the end of combat. Does it have any armor? No, it doesn't matter. Okay. Okay, so this was the second round that I would have had disadvantage. I can't attack. It's going to attack again because I'm dazed. So let's do 1 more attack. 71's a failure. Great. I'm going to, again, not disadvantage this time because I think that's spent. Yeah, an 82, so it wouldn't have mattered. Okay. Next round, again, I'm back in the game this time, assuming nothing goes weird. He rolls a 17. Great. Nope. not bladed weapon, bludgeoning. Again, I'm doing the weapon master, so hopefully if I succeed, I get a little bonus on defense. I do not. Okay, so let's see what it does. D6. A 2, Void Ray Magical. The Void Weaver channels the power of the void through its form, firing a beam of dark energy that deals D10 arcane damage on hit. Okay, so let's see where it hits. I think I go down. Humanoid hits me in the right leg, no armor there. It's going to do a D10 of arcane damage, so let's find the D10. Oh my goodness. Okay, so again, you know, if you remember or if you're new, that's not 9 points of damage. What you do is you check your display tables, you do dealing damage, 9 points. That's going to do 3 points of damage. You sort of, so it sort of translates into your initial damage comes off your toughness until that goes down. Then you start subtracting from your health. Okay. Okay. That was its attack. Now it's my turn to attack. Right? I'm going with a bludgeon weapon again, trying to do weapon mastery. Wow. 86. A miss. Okay, its turn. $72, miss. I'm going to see if I can defend and get a defensive move. Nope. Retreat. I needed to figure out if I could retreat past this into a new room. I want to say no. I mean, I don't know if this is actually true, but I want to say that it makes sense that you would not be able to... I'm going to go to possible combat actions, flee. When things aren't looking good and you want to disengage and retreat to the previous room, so I can't make progress. So what that means is basically one way I have to beat this thing. I can't recall if I used my ring. If you remember, I have a ring of Arcane Tempest. It's once per camp rest. I don't think I've... I don't know if I rested, and I don't know if I feel like I would have tried it on the Umbra, whatever. Whoops, I just closed my character. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to attack. Again, my weapon mastery. 37. It's going to defend. So it has to roll a critical. Rolls a 90, so it fails. So I'm going to get a defensive bonus next turn. And let's figure out damage. Once per room. I'm going to use a once per room here. So deals extra damage. So it can do 3d6, because again, every weapon does a d6. 3d6. And again, if you don't recall, you have to... I don't think it's going to do... the 5 might do something. So it's not important that I rolled a 10. It's important that I rolled a 4, a 1, and a 5. So what you do is you actually compare each die. A 4 does 1, but because it's resistant to all physical damage, that 1 becomes blah. The 5 does 2, so that is actually going to get cut in half down to a 1. So that can hurt it. But if you haven't watched the last session, this is what I was running into with the Umbra Fiend, is that I needed to roll 5s or 6s to do damage, but it had 6 health. At one point it got healed. I was just like, screw this. And I remember at the end I was like, you know, I don't know if I'm understanding the mechanics about how to... The mechanic was I should have just left. I didn't need to spend that much time. I wasn't thinking of this as sort of like a roguelike kind of, you know, in the video game sense, where your resources are paramount to all things. So you can't just walk in there and be like, oh, I'm going to futz around and fight. You have to like assess. And again, there's not much to be gained except for, I mean, XP, which could put me to level 2 because I'm pretty close at 930. You need 1,000. And maybe some swag for beating it, but it wasn't worth the effort to keep going, to burn like that. Like I burned my ring attack probably. Wasn't worth it. Anyway, I also didn't know because this was the first time I was sort of running through the full dungeon mechanics. I didn't know what some of the traits meant. So, you know, what do I know? Okay. So now the Umbra Fiend's going, not the Umbra Fiend, the Void Weaver's going to attack. It gets a 10 bonus. 58, I think, is still a failure. I get to now defend with a 10 bonus and see if I can trigger a defensive move. 16, I definitely do. Okay. Let's see what this says. Your next attack doesn't suffer the usual negative 30 modifier to your attack skill when targeting a specific body part. Okay, I've had this before. This guy is... his weak spot's his head, so that's what I'm going to go for. Okay, cool. So that's the defensive move. Now it's my attack. Again, always doing the combat mastery. I'm going to go for the head because I don't get the negative 30 penalty. I rolled a 51. Great. So in order to protect against this, it has to roll a critical. 92. It fails. When you hit a weak spot, automatic critical hit. That's good, obviously. But what does a critical hit do? Dealing damage. So, oh, okay, combat critical. Okay, here we go. Okay. Combat criticals have their damage doubled, so instead of a d6, I'll be rolling 2d6. So that gives me 2 chances to roll 5s or 6s. I would love to get... And, nope, nothing. 0. Zilch. Didn't matter. Okay. So back to its attack. It rolled a 13. That would have been a success either. I forgot to enter the bonus. I successfully attacked, so I'm going to get my 10. I didn't do any damage, but I succeeded in my attack. Doesn't matter, roll an 87. Okay. D6 to see what this thing does. 3, it's going to give me disadvantage for 2 rounds. Okay. Here's my first one at a disadvantage. Trying again for the combat mastery. 30 or 3, either way. And in this case, again, you know, I think I had a situation like this before. The disadvantage actually helps me. Because basically now this creature, I think, has to roll a critical. Maybe if it rolls a 30, it ties. But if I'd rolled a 3, then it would have had a bit of a window to match and beat me by rolling higher while still succeeding. So, okay. It failed. I succeeded. Time to roll damage, I guess. Chances of me to damage? Nope, nothing. Okay. It attacks. 73, I miss. I get my 10. 61, does that passes because of the 10. Great. Okay. So that triggers a defensive move. Let's get that going. Your opponent receives the bleeding condition 1. So now, if you remember again, like bleeding does sort of a point of damage every single time. The trick is, though, because it's resistant to... Sorry, it's not a point of damage. It's a damage of 1. So a damage... I'll bring this back in. So a damage of 1, again, is a 0. And I think I started piling some bleeding up on the Umbra Fiend And I realized I'd have to get to like a damage, bleeding level of 5 in order to do 2 points damage cut down to 1. So it doesn't actually help me out too much, but yeah, whatever. Okay. My attack, I think this is the last one that I'm at disadvantage. 70. You drop your weapon and must spend your next turn recovering it. If you are not wielding a weapon, your next... Okay, yeah. So I drop my weapon. Next turn is wasted. Could have been worse, but... Okay. 20... Goodness. So I critical fumble. It critical succeeds. You ever feel like the random dice generator on computers is full of shit? Because I feel that right now. Like right now. Okay. Okay. Can I even defend? Because I dropped my weapon. I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. Okay. Let's see what his damage is. 4. So, this is the one where manipulates the fabric of reality, creating a zone of cosmic blah, 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 blah. There's no damage to be done, which is basically the only thing the book mentions. Is it worth going rogue and doubling something else? Or is it just, yeah, no, I mean, the critical didn't have an impact. Like if it had done like the Void Ray attack, it would have done a 2d10. That could have been serious. But I don't feel like I should just automatically make this 4 rounds, should I? I'm going to say no. Okay, so I'm at 2 rounds of disadvantage again. Disadvantage, so back to my attack. No, I can't attack because I dropped my weapon. So now it's back to it for another attack with a +10 as the attacker. 95, thank goodness it missed. Let's see. I'm going to say like I'm still picking up my weapon. I couldn't attack the defense. Okay, so now back to it. One more time. So that was the first one where I would have been disadvantaged. 95, I like it. Okay. This is the second one where I'm disadvantaged. $81. Okay, so that's a failure. So I didn't trigger a defensive move. So this will be the attack where I'm disadvantaged. Another fumble. In the process of executing your attack, God damn it. So how many fumbles? 1 fumble, 2 fumbles. 3 fumbles. Okay. I've had 3 fumbles in... How long have I been doing this? Half an hour. It's had almost as many critical successes in the same time. System's rigged. I get it. Okay. So I'm dazed for 2 rounds. Sure. Okay. So here's... Was that my attack? Yeah. Okay. I think I was done being disadvantaged at least. But here's its first attack. 4. Okay. I'm going to say I can't defend myself because I'm dazed. Does a 2, which is a Void Ray, a D10 of damage to my where? Abdomen, which I think is armored. Just double check that. Rigid leather. Yeah. Covers torso, chest, yep. Okay, cool. Okay. I wonder if that's, yeah, anyway, whatever. Okay. Current integrity. My armor, so my armor's going to take a hit. I'm just going to assume I checked it. I can't remember at this point, to be honest with you. I might lose my armor. So let's see how that goes. It's hitting me there. It's going to do a D10. A 1 does 0, so I don't have to worry about... Wouldn't have done any damage anyway, but that's okay. Okay, so that's the first one that I was dazed for. Let's do the second one that I'm dazed for. 93, which is a miss. Perfect. Okay, so now done being dazed. Time for, no, this would be the attack of that second round, so I'm out. So let's go back one more time. It's all foggy in my head. I could be doing this entirely wrong. 46 is a failure. Great. I'm going to see if I trigger a defensive move. Eight, I do. Nice. Your opponent immediately suffers 1d4 damage that ignores armor. I don't know if I can actually do damage with a 1d4. I rolled a 4, which, again, if you check the chart, is 1, but because it's resistant to physical damage, it's cut in half. It doesn't do anything. Okay. At least this guy can't heal himself. That was the trouble with the Umbra Fiend. Okay, so now it's back to... You know, I wonder... I've got these things in my ear. It's a little more comfortable. Not having the big things on my head, you know, whatever. They don't work quite as well. I'm wondering if I can hook up my AirPods to my my sound mixer. It has Bluetooth. It might be a little more comfortable. Anyway, I'll have to figure that out. So here we go. We're going to do a weapon mastery check. An attack. I don't think there's anything going on with this. Rolled a 40. So again, it needs to get a critical in order to defend itself. A 90 is not going to do it. So let's roll some damage. 1d6. I need a 5 or a 6. Doesn't do anything. Okay. So we're at a position though, like I can't retreat. I don't know what you do. Like, I have to beat this fight in order to continue. So in the last session, I was talking about, oh, like, you know, you get into this combat loop where it sort of just goes on and on because I don't have the tools yet to take on, you know, certain, I don't know what. And again, like I have a magic maul and it says once per room, you can make a special attack that deals an extra damage. Let me see if there's anything about, like if it says magic in the name, like it's no longer physical damage. It's might still be 1d6, but it's no longer physical. It's just, I just don't know. Weapons traits. It says all non-magical weapons deal d6. So the reason why I'm not 100% sure with this, it says magic maul. And if this is true that it's like a magic weapon, and even if it's d6, it's not physical. I don't know. Don't know. Magic item generation. So this is the trick. Once per This is something that it may say it somewhere. I just don't know where to look. So I'm not quite sure what to do. It's so okay. So I'll walk you through some of my thinking. It says it's a magic mall. It doesn't say anything specific about damage. There are certain types of damage types you can do. Some of them are like holy, necrotic. They feel like they're more magic, psychic, ice, fire, whatever. This doesn't say that. It just says that it has this ability to do extra attacks. So in my mind, the magic of it is the ability to do this extra damage, but there's nothing else stating what it should do. Like if it does magic damage, do you start kicking in its creature's magic resistance? On some level, I don't want that. And so that's the thing. Like, I don't know how to pick apart these sort of, I feel like I've sort of fallen into these little cracks, but I don't feel like these cracks are wildly specific so that like, oh my God, it's like a 1 in a million fluke that, you know, I just don't know how to parse all this. That's all. And because again, like I was saying, like I have trouble sort of getting through the rule book quickly. If I had all the time in the world, it wouldn't be a big deal. Because I'm trying to do it here, I'm trying to move. And so it's one of those things where like in most RPGs, you're just like, you know, just make a ruling, right? Like who cares? And that's what I did. I was just like, yeah, it does the regular damage, but its magic property is that I can do this bump every once in a while. But otherwise it's just physical damage. But when the entirety of the game are the mechanics, making multiple rulings where you're just like, I'm not sure. I personally start to feel like I'm starting to get away from potentially what the game is trying to be. That's why it's more concerning here than it would be if I was running, you know, something off my shelf or the Cold War spy game or whatever. Because there it's all about the story. Here it's all about the mechanics. So, okay. So I rolled a 1d6 because I hit, didn't do anything, which means I'm going to get a bonus on my defensive roll. It rolls a set. Finally, oh my God, finally it fumbles. In the process of, okay, so it's dazed for 2 rounds. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can trigger some kind of defensive move on top of all this. 43 is going to do it. Reduce your opponent's armor. Okay, it doesn't have any armor. Okay, so 2 rounds, I'm going to get 2 attacks. Here's my first one. 68, I miss. Second one. Almost had a critical. Okay. 19, great. It doesn't get to defend because it's dazed. 6 is going to do a point of damage. Nice. Down to 1 hit point left. That's good. Okay, so now we're back to the cycle. It's going to get to go. 65 is a failure. Let's see if I can trigger defensive move. Critical success, which I don't think it matters in this case, so yes. Pressure advantage, reducing your opponent's next defensive roll by 20. That's great. Okay. So now it's my turn to attack. 68, I miss. So it can try and pull a defensive move, but it's going to lose 20 off its roll. 95 wouldn't have mattered. Okay. Okay. Back to it. 90 is a failure. Let's see if I can trigger a defensive roll. Defensive, yeah, 23. Defensive move is what I should say. You get a moment of respite after fending off your opponent's attack. Recover 2 toughness, which I think I'm down a couple. That's helpful. So I'm up to 15. Okay. Nice. That helps. Now it's my turn to attack. Right? Yeah. 20. Nice. 87. Great. Let's see if I do any damage. Perfect. Boom. Done. It's dead. We're going to roll on the spoils table. So the spoils here, you can see it's just a straight spoils. It's not resources. It's roll on the precious items table. Very nice. I roll a relic. Very nice. Huh. How do I get relics? Here we go. I get the Band of Knowledge. Let's see what that says. Forged in the heart of the lost library of Kizanu and infused with the essences of countless tomes, this ring serves as a conduit to unparalleled knowledge. When it's slipped onto your finger, again, because if you recall, the F's for some reason don't always come through when I was bringing it over. When slipped onto the finger, it ignites a profound awakening within the wearer's mind, expanding their intellect and awareness. In the presence of the Enigma Scholars Band, mysteries unravel with ease, secrets unveil themselves, and the once obscure become a landscape of interconnected wisdom. After a camp rest, choose a skill. It gains a plus 50 until your next camp rest. These points may not be reallocated until your next camp rest. That's actually great. So basically, it lets me... I'm going to slip it onto my finger. I have a ring of Arcane Tempest. What does that do? Oh, that's the thing that lets me do a bunch of... Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I can drag this over to here. Save, Band of Knowledge. So now I'm going to say, what do I want my plus 50 to be? I could turn my stealth from a 30 to an 80, so suddenly I'm getting a bunch more, hopefully, attacks. I could turn my scavenge from a 20 to a 70, so I can actually get stuff from rooms. I will say, mostly I haven't been using a ton of skills, right? I don't know what some of these skills do because I just haven't used them very often. But those are the obvious ones that have come up a lot. I've been mostly doing bludgeoning, perception, scavenge. I've avoided stealth because it doesn't help me. Thievery would help because it would let me get through locked doors without bashing them, increasing the tension die, etc., etc. Get my thievery up to a 60. I think I'm going to go with that. Let's see what happens if I do this. If I put a 50 there and I roll it. What if I do that? So there's a couple things. I don't know what this checkbox does. I don't know if it's just built into custom system builder. It doesn't seem to take this number into account, the bonus box. I'm not sure. I wish it did because it's going to be tough for me to remember, like... Yeah, it's going to be tough for me to remember. I guess what you do is it just reminds you to change this. I guess it's something, right? It's not meant to be automation. It's just meant to be a reminder. So, okay, that's fine. So we did the spoils. I got a relic. That's great. I got the Band of Knowledge. That's amazing. XP, I think you get, what do you get? You get 50 for... So I don't think I quite get to what I need to advance. Character progression. Leveling up, you get, let's see, 50 for, no. Defeat a combat encounter, 50. Yeah, there we go. So let's bring my character up. Where am I? My XP now goes to 980. I might get something for finding a relic. Do I get anything like that? Defeat an overseer. No. Dismantle a trap. No. Locked door. No. Okay. Okay. So there we go. This thing goes down. I successfully explore. So now let's go through the process of exploring the next room. So first things first, we're going to roll to see what it is. It's going to be a D100. It's going to be 83, which is going to be a room. Again, still no hallways. I want this. I want tiles. Ker Nethalas. We need 83. Pull this out. Oh, no. Let me... So it doesn't remember. So I think man, what did I put? Did I put this at 160? So I changed that just to make it fit on the screen better, but it doesn't recall the number. So I have to recall. So you can do that. I can turn it. Might have gotten even smaller. Again, the only reason it matters is because I'm anal, retentive, and I want to make it match. That looks pretty good. Okay, 170 was the trick. So I'm going to go with that. Can I group select all these and move them down? We'll do that. I'm only going to do that just to make it easier. Okay. There we go. Okay, so once we do that, we need to go through the process of exploring. First of all, light source goes down, so let's do that. Light source is now down to 9. Okay. Next step is exploring mapping domains. We figured that out. If this is the first room or quarter in the new domain, okay, we don't do that. Every time you place a new room, you must make a layer check. Again, we're hoping this goes down. We want to roll, I think, a 1 or a 2. Whoops, that's not going to work. I need to roll a D10. 3 is not going to do it. Basically, what I want to do is I want to roll a 1 or 2, so that drops from a D10 to a D8, and a D8 to a D6, blah, blah, blah. And so eventually when you get to a D4, and then you discover where the boss layer is. I'm going to say I think that starting with a D12 is too high. So here's a trick. The game's trying to be sort of like a roguelike, right? In some ways. So it's an endurance run. You know, that's the point. The trick is, though, like, how long do you want to be in one domain? Again, like, one of the other games I played solo is Rune, and I think I got it, was it one session or two? But it felt like you could sort of get through it like in an afternoon. But here, like the idea is like, say you were playing this on a table. I could see starting with a D12 layer check. I'm wondering, like, is it possible that it takes so long? Is there some kind of that you end up like have to leave it set up for days because like this domain just won't end? Because again, like it's possible that you just don't. You know, you can always just roll the numbers and so it never ends, theoretically. Anyway, okay, so this is not the lair, of course, but it also doesn't go down. Okay, you don't need to check for a domain exit because we haven't found the lair yet. Make a tension die check. Okay, it's a D8. That's fine. Okay. Combat encounter. We're looking for 10 plus means that there's an encountered an enemy. 13. Okay, there's an enemy. So let's see who we're dealing with here. I guess we can get a room description, right? Why not? Old iron ingots are piled in a corner of this room, each one of them marked with a seal of an ancient house. Okay, that's cool. Combat encounter. Let's see what we're dealing with. Astral beast. Astral beast. Display name. Covered by anyone. It's hostile. I think the appearance I need to bump up to what was I doing? A 2.5? Yeah, that's fine. Why not? So what are we looking at? Astral beast. I feel like I'm forgetting. This is the overseer, and did I write down plus 10 magical resistance? Okay. Hasn't really impacted anything yet as far as I know. Astral beasts are colossal creatures that shimmer with iridescent hues, a tapestry of stardust and swirling nebulae visible across its skin. Its very presence distorts reality, warping the astral fabric and causing small tears into it. When provoked, the astral beast wields unfathomable celestial powers, summoning cosmic storms and unleashing torrents of astral energy upon those who dare to challenge it. The important thing here is its traits. Penetrating, 1. So I have a feeling I'm going to assume that has something to do with getting through armor. Yeah. So this creature's attack ignores armor points equal to X value. So penetrating of 1 means that my armor is going to not stop it because it can blow through that. What I actually need to do is something I keep forgetting. I need to check to see if my armor actually falls apart. It's at a D4 integrity. So 1 or 2, yep, it's gone. So I'm done with armor. I'm going to get rid of this because it's gone. Just reset this because why not? I'm not wearing anything. I guess the armor could have done something. It would have protected a little bit because it's got an armor of 2. Okay, so there we are. Armor is no more. Okay, cool. Let's see. We are now going to see who goes first. I chose thievery, not stealth. I didn't check to see if this door was unlocked. So let's go do that really quickly before we go too far. Doors unlocked. Okay, no big deal. Cool. So it's my perception against its awareness. Let's see. Its awareness is pretty low. It's got a decent amount of health. Rolls a 38, which is a failure. My perception. So again, we both fail. Do we roll again? Like, I'm going to go to the rules. I'm going to go to combat. Initiative. When you are faced with an opponent and combat is clearly taking place, you must determine who strikes first. This is done by pitching your perception versus your target's awareness in an opposed check. Whoever wins gets to act first until combat is over. If either side rolls a critical failure, they attack as if they surprised him. Alternatively, if then they go into stealth. So let me see how to do. Maybe there's something in opposed checks that when a player is in direct competition with another character, an opposed check takes place to determine who is successful. This is usually required when you try and sneak up an opponent. Whichever side rolls higher than the other without going over their own skill wins the opposed check. If there's a tie of any kind. Okay, so the character with the highest relevant skill score is considered. So I win because my skill's higher. Okay, good. So again, that's on me in a way. I think if I were writing the rules, I would have said, you know, see opposed checks, or I would have noted something or put it in bold or something, and like. And again, that's going back to wargaming rules. Like the wargaming rules, if it's at opposed check, usually if they're well written, like the late Dean Essick was a master at writing rules. What he would do is, or what a lot of good rules writers are, is they use specific terms to mean exact things, and that's the term they use every time. And they do that, and then sometimes they would put like the page reference or the paragraph reference, but by using a certain term, they would mark it, bold it, italicize it, something, so you knew they were talking about something specific, and then they would reference, you know, where you need to check to get further information. And so I guess I'm sort of missing that a little bit. But yeah, okay, so I win because it's a tie. Cool. Here's another thing. When you need to round a number, such as in order to calculate levels divided by 2 or the effects of a certain ability, always round up. So that raises an interesting question. Have I been doing damage wrong? Because if it's... If you rolled a... Like, so, okay, so let me bring this up here. So if I rolled a 2 or a 4, you get a 1, you cut it in half, it's half, but then it becomes a 1 again. So does that mean, like, does physical resistance then do anything? Because physical resistance, like, it would cut a 2 to a 1, but does it do anything for a 1? Would a 3 still be a 2? I guess it does a little bit, but feels a little bit neutered in that sense. Okay. Again, a lot of this is because I've only played a couple times. I'm not a master of the rules. This is the other trick with doing so. Like, if we were doing it with, like, Matt and Patrick, 3 of us would have some inkling of the rules, or we could be checking, or we could be figuring it out and talking it through, and at least coming up with what makes the most sense logically. It wouldn't just be me with my addled brain at, you know, midnight on a Tuesday trying to figure it out. Okay, so I'm the attacker, so I'll start. Again, doing my weapon mastery. Oh my goodness. That's a critical failure. Fumble. You somehow managed to hurt yourself badly with your own weapon. You receive a critical, oh my god, critical hit. So I'm going to take a critical hit where? Left leg, sure. A 6 and a 3. 6 does 2 points damage, 3 does 1, so take 3 points of damage. Oh my goodness. Take my magic maul and I just go, ah, and then just kneecap myself, I guess. It just sort of defies the imagination at some point. Okay, so that's my opening. It's my opening attack. It's one for the books. Okay, so now it's gonna go the feverish astral beast. 49 is gonna be a failure. I'm gonna see if I can get a defensive move going. Of course not. 98, not in this lifetime. Okay, back to me. I'm going to do a bludgeoning attack. I get the 10 for being the attacker. 84 is not going to do it. Let's see if it can trigger a defensive move on me. It does not. Okay, it's going to attack me. 56 is a failure. Let's see if I can... The competence on display is something that they will write about for generations. Me bashing my own kneecap. Bunch of misses. Okay. I trigger, let's see. I trigger a defensive move. Opponent immediately suffers 1d4 damage that ignores armor. This might actually do something because 4. It's not resistant to physical damage. So that was massive. So this is what I like, right? This is, you know, in the past I talked about what's the thing that keeps combat moving? Defensive moves. Is it like the special maneuvers in like in Mithras? Like what? It's the defensive moves. And here, like, boom. I think it serves the purpose. Not because it's going to help me win faster. It's because it keeps me moving. Because I want to explore. I don't want to bog down in a combat for like 27 minutes or whatever the first one took. Okay. So that was the defensive move. So now it's my attack. 10. I rolled a 6. Okay. A lot of room for it to roll higher than, and okay, it succeeds. Okay, so does it get a defensive? I guess it would get a defensive move, right? I'm just going to say it does. No, I'm going to say it doesn't because I succeeded. Usually I do a defensive move when it fails. This is just me. This is just it avoiding my attack. So let's ignore that. So now it's turn to attack. Nope, it doesn't get any advantage. I'm the attacker for once. 26, that's a success. I did not succeed on my last attack, so I'm not going to get my bonus. 89, it wouldn't have mattered anyway. So let's see what this thing does. That still doesn't work. I wish I knew why. For a hot second it worked. It was just like one of those nice little features that is just like, boom, boom, it's all right there in the sheet. Just go with it. Rolled a 3, which is Nebula Shield. The astral beast envelops itself in a shimmering nebula, creating a protective barrier. Until the start of its next turn, the astral beast becomes resistant to all damage. Okay. Okay. I was about to say, like, I could use my weapons magic attack, but I'm not going to do that. I get a 10. Till the start of its next turn. Okay, so basically for this attack. So I don't know how it works in the roll. Again, I think I've asked before, like, do you think that the 3D dice actually determine what the number is, or does it sort of know, and it also lines it up? On the screen, if you were watching, it was like an 8, and then the die bumped it and changed it to an 88, which is now a fumble. You hurl your weapon with such strength that it gets stuck very deep in a wall or ground. As a standard action, you must perform a successful athletics check to receive it. That could be a problem. Okay, my athletics is a 40, so it's not the worst. Okay, so it's going to attack. So now it's going to lose its shield. Rolls a 4, of course. I don't know that I can defend myself. I could try to dodge. .58's a failure. Let's see what it does. 6, Astral Tempest. The astral beast channels its cosmic power and unleashes a storm of astral energy upon its surrounding. All creatures within the room must succeed on a magical resistance check, taking D10 force damage on a failed check or half on a successful one. Okay. So my magical resistance is poor. It's a 20. So I'm going to take the full D10 damage. So let's see what that's going to do to me. An 8. Pop this back in. It's 3 points damage. You can see it on the chart. Okay. Toughness is down to 9. Okay. So it's my attack. I don't get to attack. What I actually have to do is see if I can dislodge my weapon. I do not. Thought it was going to be a 20. Turned out to be a 60. Okay. It attacks. 17. Now it's just going to go on a roll. Watch. Go on a run of successes. 17 is a success. I can try dodging. 100. Okay. So let's see what it does. D6. 4. That's going to be the shield. So it doesn't matter because I can't attack it anyway. 38. Okay, so I get my weapon back at least so we can get back into the process. I don't think it can really do... I didn't attack it, so I don't know why it would do a defensive move. It's attacked now. Its shield is gone. Rolls a 57, which is a failure. Let's see if I can trigger a defensive move. A 1. Nice. Defensive move incoming. Opponent immediately suffers 1d4 damage. 3. It's gone. Huh. There we go. So 2 defensive moves are what killed it. It's going to roll on the spoils table. Roll on the valuable items table. Nice. I get a random potion. Nope, I rolled on random weapon. I want a random potion. Do I have a potions table? Random potion. Potions, here we go. Antidote. Immediately removes the poisoned condition. Okay. Let me add that to my backpack. I don't know if that would be considered light. I'm just going to make it a item, whatever. Okay. I get 50 XP. Gonna put me over. I don't know if I scavenged, and let me do a scavenge roll for the last room. Skills poor, so probably 82. Okay. Okay, so let's do a quick thing about leveling up. Creating your survivor. I'll bring this up in the rules. It's creating your survivor. You go to character progression. Leveling up. In order to level up, you must accrue a total of 1,000 experience points. Open a locked door, yada, yada, yada. Each time you accrue enough experience points to level up, you can choose one of the following benefits. Somehow, through all the tribulations you are going through, increase your health by D4. Increase toughness by D6. Increase sanity by D4. Ether by D6. Exhaustion resistance by 1. Increase damage dealt by D4, slashing, bludgeoning damage. So I think that would mean that my skill would be D6 plus D4 now. I can increase the skill of my choosing by 5. Increase magic resistance by 10. Okay. I'm tempted to take the damage, or what would be good to increase by 5? Scavenge? Like every little bit helps, so to speak? Not so to speak, literally every little bit helps. Although I do really like the idea of that damage. I think I'm gonna I think I'm gonna go with that. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna create a (1d6 plus 1d4). Just test it, just to make sure. So again, it's not important that I rolled a 7. It's important that I rolled a 3 and a 4. Okay. And then I get an ability point. Now the ability point goes towards one of my masteries. So let's see what I've got for my 2 masteries. Okay, so I've got Emissary and Weapon Master. Emissary is Unbreakable Faith. For 4 ether, I can... Your certainty on your path allows you to perform combat feats that normally a mortal wouldn't be able to increase. Increase your next attack roll by 40. How much ether do I have? I've got 10. Or I can do a sure blow. You see through your enemy's weakness and exploit them with ease. As long as you pass your weapon skill check, your opponent cannot defend from this attack in any way. Also for 4. And then the thing is, though, because then that would allow me to do... Overwhelming Technique. Expends 6 ether, and then the whole combat, your target's combat skills down by 20. So I think I'm going to take this because it's going to allow me to keep going. Yeah. Okay. So I think because I checked that, let's just see what happens on my character sheet. I think now it says you can see Evasive Strike, Sure Blow, right? Heal Wounds. I do want to see how to do that. Channels D, because I've taken a bunch of toughness. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spend 4 ether. Does it have to be, can I just do it whenever, or does it have to be in combat? Standard action. I'm just going to say I can do it. I'm going to spend 4 ether. I'm down to 6. And I do D4 wounds. 4. Okay, that's good. Okay. Very nice. Good enough. Okay. We can close this out. I don't think I'm done in this room, though. I think what I want to do is exploring Ker Nethalas. Retracing steps. I think once the combat encounter is done, I can scavenge. Okay, so let's scavenge. Scavenging skill is really poor. It is at 20%. Nope. Okay. Cool. Okay, so we got 3 doors in here. Let's see. We're going to go around boom, 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 sort of clockwise. Let's see if they are locked. First one, unlocked, unlocked, locked. Okay, so this one's locked. Let's, you know, now that I've bumped my thievery up by 50, let's give it a shot. Oh, here we go. Doors and containers. Doors locked. After and only after you've decided to open the lock. You must see if it's trapped by rolling a d10. Result of 7 or higher means it's indeed trapped. I am going to open it. So let's see if the door is trapped. Not trapped. I don't think this, what is it for containers? It's, open a lock. I guess it doesn't matter if it's, yeah, it doesn't matter. The trap check is the same for doors and containers. It's just the lock check that's different. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to try and open that lock. So I guess it's a thievery check. Give myself a 50. 49. Okay, so basically every single one is unlocked. So I'm going to start by going... I'm going to go the top. Just because this could get... Oh, I guess I can move everything down. So we do a D100. 96, again, another room. And if you remember, the higher the number, the wonkier the room. What do we say, 96? Okay, so this is going to be a dead end. So let's drop this in. Okay. Okay. There we go. Then we have to do a layer check, which is now a D10. 5, that stays the same. Tension die. 5, that stays the same. Do we check for a combat encounter? 17, we definitely get a combat. Oh, you know what I got to do? I got to... Nope. Oh, I know why, because I'm still... Okay. We have to do I reset, or do we just go to 2,000, 3,000? I'll just make it 1,000. That way I get to keep my 30. Okay. Level. I'm level 2. You might have seen on some of the monster sheets when you hit like level 5 or level 10, they get extra bonuses. So that's why it's good to remember. Okay, let's see what we're dealing with. Combat encounter. We're dealing with a cave-bound leech. Okay. Fix its... Nope. Hostile appearance. Bump this up to 2. It's good enough. Okay. Egomaniacal, cave-bound leech. The slimy, segmented body of a cave-bound leech stretches for several meters with a glistening, mucus-covered exoskeleton that allows it to move effortlessly through the underground passages. Its elongated, razor-sharp teeth line its gaping maw, capable of piercing even through the sturdiest of armors. That's not good. When disturbed, the cave-bound leech lies in wait, coiled like a nightmarish serpent, ready to strike with lightning speed and constrict its victims in its suffocating embrace, while at the same time attempting to devour them with its terrible jaws. Okay. Traits, penetrating and alert, so let's figure those out. Pull this up. We're going to bring up combat encounters. We're going to go down to creature traits. We're going to... Penetrating, I think, is the one I had. So let's... Nope. Let's pop that in. Nope. I did have it until I... This creature... Nope. Man. You know what? this creature's attack ignores an amount of armor points equal to its value. Okay. And then alert. Creature cannot be surprised. So I'm not going to try. So it's super. There are certain items that always let you get to the drop. This negates that. So okay. So we're gonna see who attacks first. Its awareness is high. So let's see how it does. 8. I could still beat that. It's not outside the realm of possibility. 23, I do. So I'm the attacker. I love it. Does it have armor? It does, all over its body. It's got a weak spot of its head. It's got 5 health. Its combat skill is not great. So let's see how it does. You can see here I was saying, like, after level 5, you give it extra health, extra damage, etc. Okay. Okay. So going with my opening attack. I get a 10. I roll a 50, not bad. Again, it's going to need to get a critical success to defend itself. It does not. It succeeds, but I roll higher, so we're good to go. So now I'm going to roll. Where do I hit it? If I get lucky, I hit it in its head. Serpentoid. Here we go. It's a 5. I hit it in the body, so no dice. Now I'm going to go and do my newfound damage roll. Roll a 3 and a 4. It's got armor everywhere, so the 3... does 1 point of damage. Armor is going to absorb that. The 4... oh my goodness. Does 1 point of damage, and the armor is going to absorb that. So in this case, the D4 is never going to do anything. Because it's armored. Okay. Okay, so now its attack. 25 is success. Let me see if I can nip that in the bud. Oh, I got a plus 10. 53. It doesn't matter because I succeeded with my weapon mastery. Sure blow. What does that do again? Okay. It makes it so it cannot defend itself. Okay. I feel like that's something I could see using it on an overlord, but when they got a combat skill of 30, I feel like I know 30% is higher than probably mentally. People are really bad at calculating odds, but 30 feels, like I don't know if I'd want to start blowing ether just for that. Okay. So I attack. That was its attack. I defended myself, no problem. So now I'm going to attack back. 67 is going to be success because of that plus 10 for being the attacker. Again, it needs to be able to roll a critical. 60 is a failure. I'm going to hit it in the body. I think I'm going to do the magic attack for my maul, which adds an extra 2d6 damage. So I'm going to roll 1, 2, 3, and a d4. Again, the d4 is not going to do anything. The 6 and the 5 are, though. So again, we rolled a 6, 2, 5. I'll bring this up again just so you can see. The 6 and the 5 are going to do 2 points each, but he's armored, so it's going to do 1 point each. So that's down to a 3. That helps. And then back to it. It's going to attack. Rolls a 91. I'm going to see if I can trigger a defensive move. I get a plus 10 because I successfully attacked. I rolled a 12, so I do. Okay, this is what's great about this one. Ignores damage. Does 1d4 damage that ignores armor. So this is a big one. A 2. So I think I was doing this wrong with the last fight where I was like rolling a 4 and subtracting, or maybe I wasn't. I don't know. I rolled a 2, which is going to subtract 1 point of damage. I just hope I wasn't subtracting the die value. That's what I can't remember. Because again, it's midnight. And it's a Tuesday night. Usually record on Thursdays. Last Thursday I was on vacation getting my sea air in the Cape Cod. And you know, I want there to be stuff. I want there to be stuff for you guys to see. And I want to play Ker Nethalas. So it's just tricky when, you know, there's so much going on around the house and stuff like that. Crazy jobs. This is the only time I can squeeze it in sometimes. If it's not my normal Thursday recording. So, yeah. I rolled a 2, which does 1 point of damage on that table that I've popped up a number of times. It's down to 2 health. So that was my defensive move. So now it's my attack. A 10 for being the attacker. 59 is going to hit. It needs to get a critical. 91, it fails. I'm going to roll my... I hit it where? Body. Okay. I need a 6. Nope. Okay. Okay, so again, the 3, what did I roll? The one's not going to do anything. So this is what I was going into before. So, right. Like, so earlier, I probably should have taken off a point of damage. I'm not going to worry about it. But, okay. In the rule book, it said, round up. If you need to round, you got to round up. The armor... Oh, no, because this isn't resistance. This is negating a point of armor. Okay. There's no rounding. Whew. Thank goodness. Okay. So that was the attack. Doesn't do anything, but I do get my successful bonus to dodge. It's going to attack me. Rolls an 87. Let's see if I can trigger a defensive move. I get my plus 10 for... Woof. No. A lot of ugly going on there. Okay. Okay. Let's see how this goes. My attack. 16. It can defend itself with this. It is possible. Not with a 47, though. Let's see where I hit it. Body. Okay. Damage. 4. Nope. No. Okay. Okay, it's going to attack. 47. I'm going to defend. I get a 10 because I successfully attacked last time. 18. I succeed. So let's trigger that defensive move. If you were prone, paralyzed, I'm not. Okay, my next attack receives a plus 10. It says if you were prone, paralyzed, stunned, or some other similar condition, you can automatically recover. Otherwise, because I'm not, your next attack received an additional plus 10. So it's going to be a plus 20. 62. That might have been an interesting time to go for a body part. Because it goes from a 62, 70 to an 80. So I would have failed. But you can see how getting a plus 20 negates most of that minus 30. Where do I hit it? I hit it in the body. And I do how much damage? None. None at all. That D4 doesn't seem to do much. Well, I guess it depends on what you're attacking. I mean, I don't know how much stuff has armor. The physical resistance, maybe with the rounding. I don't know. Okay, so that was my attack. So I'm going to get a bonus to my defense. 97. Let's see if I can trigger a defensive move. I forgot to... Okay. That works, so let's trigger this. Your next attack doesn't suffer the minus 30. Okay. Next attack. I got a plus 10. I'm going for its head. And then I might... Okay. 26. Technically speaking, there's a chance it could defend itself. But what I'm going to do is, because I'm going for its head, I know I've connected, I'm going to spend ether on the... You see through... As long as you pass your weapon skill check, your opponent cannot defend. So, okay, so one standard action requires a melee attack check. Is that what I just did? Like, can I... Or do I have to do another melee attack check? I passed my weapon skill, so as long as I passed it. So I'm just going to assume if I spend 4... I negate its ability to defend itself, and now I'm going to be doing... doubles it, right? So it's going to be 2d6 plus 2d4. Again, the d4s aren't going to do anything, but I'll just do it anyway. Oh my goodness. D6s are a 1 and a 2, so they don't do anything either. Okay. Back to the creature. It rolls a 46 as a failure. I'm going to see if I can trigger a defensive move. I don't. Okay, so now it's back to my attack. I get a plus 10 because I'm the attacker. 99 is a fumble. Again, that makes 347 fumbles tonight. Your attack hits a random ally instead of the intended target if there's no ally strike. Okay, where do I hit myself? Left arm, stop hitting yourself, as they say. The damage is... now I get the 6. I just maxed it out. So 1 point of damage from the D4, 2 points of damage from the... So 3 points total. It's unbelievable. Okay, so that was my attack fumbling. So now it's its turn to attack. $93, okay. I'm going to see if I can turn on a defensive move. I do. Next attack deals plus D10 damage. That's good stuff. Let's see how it works. Got a plus 10 for being the attacker. Roll a 10, so there is a chance that it can defend itself. Not with a 95, though, so this is good. So I'm going to do a D6, D4, and a D10. Liking the 9. The 9, I'll pop this in just because 9s don't come up very often. A 9 is 3 points of damage. It's got 1 armor. So it's going to get 2 through, which is going to kill it. Whoops, I shouldn't. So first and foremost, I'm going to take my 50 XP for winning. So much winning. Roll on the resources table. I get 1 cooking supply. Okay, so let's add that to, which is something that's useful when you camp. I might have burned all my cooking supplies. Okay. There's that. Now I'm going to scavenge. $43, failure. Okay. Let's get a room description. I don't think I got a room description here. The statues of weeping angels line this hall, their faces eternally frozen in grief. Okay. Let's see. We can get him off the table. So I have to backtrack, which means I have to spend... I don't have to worry about stuff, but I do have to spend that. And I think I have to roll the tension die. Woof, 1. So that's going to go down to a D6. Let's see. Okay. So now I'm going to go down. So let's do a D100. Roll a 14. That's going to be a hallway finally. So let's bring those up. I think it's going to be a 14. Hallway, I mean. 18. 14. Okay. Okay, so this door is not a thing. What it'll be is these 3 doors can be something. But yeah, this one we'll just say is blocked. It's not a big deal. Okay, so hallways, let's see, are a little bit different. Did I knock down... I don't know. What? Nope. I don't know if I knocked down... Okay, let's drop my light source down. And then the numbers are a little different when you explore a hallway. So, there's no lair check to be done. I think I have to do a tension die check. Let me see retracing your steps. You still roll the tension die. Okay, so I was correct there. So let's do the tension die check. It's going to be a D6. It's a 4, so that stays cool. All right. So let's see how the map is building out here. Okay, so we did the tension die. Let's see, combat encounter. Combat encounters only occur on a roll of 15 or higher in corridors, so it's a lot less likely to happen here. So there's nothing to worry about. Let's get let's get some corridor descriptions. Strange symbols are etched onto the walls of this hall, possibly indicating directions. Okay, cool. There's no combat encounter, so we have to roll an event. There's something of value here. Roll on the spoils table. I like that. Roll on the mundane items. 1d4 cooking supplies. That should have actually given... let's see, what's that? The mundane items? So if I go down to 7... Yeah, I forgot to close the brackets. So in theory, that would have probably popped up, hopefully. Yeah, you can see here 1d4 cooking supplies, roll a 7 again. So that's what it should have done. Get 2, and then... Okay, so my cooking supplies go up by 2, so now I'm up to 3. Yeah, 3 total. Okay. Otherwise, there's nothing in this room. So now we got to see if these other 2 doors are locked. So let's bring those up. Unlocked. Locked. Okay. So what we'll say is... Oh, and there's one more. Sorry. Going clockwise again. Unlocked, locked, locked. Okay. Oh, this is stupid. Of course that would be unlocked. That's the way I came. So we'll say unlocked, locked. Okay, so I'm going to try opening the door. So let's see if it's trapped. It's not trapped. Let's try my thievery. Get a, let me pop this back in. Get a 50 bonus. Nope. Okay. So I can't go through that door. This door is locked. Let me, See if there's a way to... Don't want to draw a rectangle. Just want to draw a freehand. That one's locked. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to go through the unlocked door. I don't want to risk bashing the door and reducing the tension die just to see what's behind there. So let's see what's behind this door. D100. 75. Okay. What are we up to here? 68, 73, 74, 75. Okay, let's bring that out. Yeah, I'll do it that way. Why not? Okay. Usual stuff. Layer check. I thought that was going to be a 1. That's cool. Okay, tension die check. 5, that's cool. Combat, which is a 10 or higher on a D20. Nope, that's not a D20. Oh, you got to be kidding me. I thought it was going to be a 1. So we got a combat encounter. Let's see what it is. It's another cave-bound leech. Wasn't too bad last time, so let's deal with that. They're alert, which means they can't be surprised, so I'm not going to try and... Oh no, did it not remember? Oh, it didn't remember because I got to put it on... I double-clicked, which brings up the... I double-clicked the icon, which brings up its individual character sheet. What I needed to do is I needed to include those things on the master character sheet. So let me quickly do that. Combat encounter. Creature traits. We've got penetrating. Should be a little easier this time because I have it up on the real PDF, not the one in Foundry. I know it's done, but I actually sometimes have multiple PDFs of the same file. One in Foundry so I can show you, but one sort of the master one that I'm using on the side. And then alert. So if you wonder why I'm doing this, it's because it's to make sure there's no weirdness when it actually comes back on the sheet. Sometimes if you don't sort of close any of those gaps, you can, the formatting in the actual character sheet looks weird. Okay. So. All right, let's see how this goes. What I'm going to do is I'm going to drag it back out so that it has those things entered. So now you can see it's there. Okay, so it's going to be its awareness, which again is pretty high because it can't be surprised, so that makes sense. 34. I can technically beat that, but it's going to be tough. Okay, whatever. Was this the one where if somebody fumbles, there's no benefit for a success, but if you fumble, it's as if you got ambushed? Which, with my luck, yes, that's exactly what it would be. Oh my goodness, initiative and surprise. Ugh. Let's see, pitching, perception, awareness. Whoever wins gets to attack over. If either side rolls a critical failure, they attack is okay, surprised. Okay, so I got surprised because I critically fumbled. That might, again, that's now 12,900 fumbles in one session. It feels, again, also to what I was saying a little while ago, that people are bad about figuring out odds. You know, if you roll doubles, what is that, like a 10% chance or so? That's low for having it happen like 4 or 5, 6 times. I don't know. Whatever. Let's see. Okay, if you win the check, the initiative is yours, and you get to make your first attack with a plus 20. So I guess that's what the surprise is. It's going to make its first attack with a plus 20. So let's figure that out. Okay, here we go. Opening attack is going to be plus 20. It's going to be 30 total because it's the attacker. I rolled a 7, which is a success, but I might be able to defend myself if I can... Pat, nope. Okay, forget it. It's, I failed. I just need to pat, nope. Okay. So let's see what this thing can do. The first attack, I don't know if it ever got an attack off. Let's do a d6. Rolls a 6. It says engulfing devour, but I'm wondering if that's supposed to be engulfing devour. Because again, Fs don't always come through. What is this thing called? It's called a cave-bound leech. Yeah, that's supposed to be engulfing devour. So let me just fix that real quick. Okay, the cave-bound leech targets a creature it has entangled with its constricting grasp ability. It opens its maw wide and attempts to engulf the creature, dealing 2d6 acid damage. So I'm going to need to figure that out. Let's see. Combat, action types, damage types. I'll just bring that up. Acid caused by certain plants, creatures. Okay, it doesn't actually specify. Maybe it's just if you have resistances or don't have resistance. Okay. If no creature was affected by constructing grasp, the cave-bound leech deals d10 piercing, healing for half of the damage done. Okay, so I think constructing grasp, that should be constricting. That's a typo. So I think this is meant to be a follow-up to another one of the attacks. So if you see here, 1 and 2 is a constricting grasp. So if it had already got me tangled up in that, then it could go to town with his acid damage because it's sort of like, well, you know, trying to dissolve me so it can eat me. It didn't do that yet. So it's just going to get to be a straight D10. It's going to get to heal for half the damage done. I haven't done any damage to it yet, so I'm just going to take the damage. I'm going to pop that in. A 10 is 4 points of damage. It just doesn't get any. It's unbelievable. I mean, it's not unbelievable. That's the thing, right? Like it's happening. So let me pop this in. 4 points of damage is going to bring that down to a 6. Okay. So that was its opening attack. Because it got a bonus for a surprise. My turn to attack. 45. Let's see if it can defend itself. 15, it succeeds, but I rolled higher, so I'm gonna win. I'm gonna do my this thing has got armor. I'm gonna do my 2d6 bonus. So it's gonna do 3d6 and a d4. I like what I'm seeing with the 6 and the 5. Because that's going to do... Whoops. Where did it go? 6 and a 5 are each going to do 2 points of damage. Got armor. Where did I hit it? Did I hit it in the head? That could help. Body. No. I guess I should have seen where it hit me when it did that damage. Head. Holy God. So it would have done double... Would have done double. So I think it did 4 points damage, so it would have done 8. Did it do 4 points? It did 4 points, so it would have done 2 d10. So let's do another d10. 2. Okay, would have done 1 more point of damage. Okay. Woof. Okay. But let's go back. I did a 5 and a 6, so that's each 1 point of damage because the armor's going to absorb. It does 2 points of damage, but its armor absorbs 1 from each. So it's going to be 2 points, so it's going to knock it down to a 3. That's not bad, honestly. That's not bad at all. Okay, because I did a successful attack, I'm going to get a bonus on my defense. It gets a 10 for being the attacker. A 9. I can beat this. Got a pretty wide range to 24. Do it. Nice. Okay. My attack. 83 miss. Let's see if it can do a defensive move on me. Thank goodness. Okay, let's see if it gets an attack in. It gets a plus 10. 48 is a failure. Perfect. So let me see if I can trigger a defensive move on this thing. Which is essentially how I beat it last time. A 40, I do. If you were prone, paralyzed, blah, blah, blah. I'm not, so I get a plus 10 on my next attack. So that was my defensive move. So I'm going to get the plus 10 right now. Here we go. 44. So it's going to... Oh, that's critical. Nice. I think it needs a critical success to... It's going to fail. Okay, so let's see where I hit it. Serpentoid. Body. Okay. So whenever I roll double. So it's usually 1d6 plus 1d4, so it's a 2d6 plus the 2d4s aren't going to matter, but whatever, we'll include them. 5 is going to do 1 point of damage again because it's 2, but it's armored. So it's going to... It's armor of 1, so it's going to reduce my damage by 1. I love, again, I say this with other games, I love that this game does armor correctly. No armor class, but it uses armor to reduce damage already inflicted instead of determining hit. Again, I know it's probably all arbitrary and it ends up in the same place. Whatever. This feels better to me. Okay. What are we looking at? That was my attack. I succeeded, so I'm going to get a bonus to my defense when the time comes. It attacks me. It gets a plus 10 for being the attacker. 58 is going to be a failure. Let's see if I can turn around a defensive move. I get a 10. I do, because I succeeded. It failed. So let's see what this is. Your opponent receives the bleeding condition of 1. So that's not going to do anything yet. We'll maybe start building that up. So now it's my turn to attack. 39. Let's see if it can... It needs a critical to defend itself. Okay, so it succeeded, but again, I rolled a 39. It rolled a 24, so I win. Let's see where I hit it. Body. No luck. Let's do a damage roll. Again, only the D6. I need it to be more than a 4. I need a 5 or 6. Okay. But I do get a bonus to my defense. 47 is a failure. Let's see if I can turn this thing around on it with a defensive move. Plus 10. Rolled a 74. That's going to be a failure. Okay, so no luck there. My turn to attack. 73 is a failure. Let's see if it can turn around a defensive move on me. It does. Next attack does a D10 damage. Okay. Let me see what I got in here. I don't think I have like a healing potion. That's the first problem. Second problem is fleeing requires a dodge, and my dodge is not a great skill. So the question, and it's close to dying, but it's not there. Well, it's turn to attack, so it's not like I can avoid. Okay, so it's gonna get a 10. What I need is for it to miss. It didn't. It rolled an 8. So what I need now is to defend myself. So it rolled an 8, and then I rolled a 3. So it hit. So let's see what it did. I guess the attack, I mean, you know, regardless of, I'm going to roll a d6, but rolls a 6, which is going to be a d10 plus another d10. And it's going to heal for half. This is going to be 2d10. This could actually kill me. An 8 and a 3. An 8, I'll pop this in. I've got... Oh, no, it's not going to kill me because then it burns through my toughness, goes to my health. What am I talking about? 8 and a 3. So the 3 is going to do 1 point. The 8 is going to do 3 points. So that brings me down to 1 toughness. I don't have ether to heal myself, so I can't do that. I'm down to 1 toughness. Did 4 points. It's going to heal for 2. Okay. It's my turn. Let me see if I can flee. How do you flee? I think it's a dodge roll, right? Let me figure that out really quickly. Different types of possible combat actions. Fleeing is a dodge check. If I fail, then I just... Basically, I'm being blocked, and then it just goes right back to my opponent's turn. So I'll try. 90. Okay, so now it attacks. Gets 10. Okay, now I get to defend myself. 20 versus its 10, so I succeed. Okay. Let me see if I can dodge again. 44 is a fumble. What is a fumble? Let me see if a fumble would even... Yeah, works. You trip and fall, wasting this action. You are prone and must use a standard action. Yeah, I mean, this makes sense because what would happen is that means I can't try and flee next turn. Okay. So I don't think I can also defend myself, so it's going to attack me. I didn't check where it hit me. Chest, that's not... Okay. Okay, so it failed to attack. I can't defend myself. My turn, I stand up. That's all I can do. It gets to attack again. 22 is a critical success. I need a critical to tie. Given my luck, it's not going to happen. Okay. Okay, so it's already a critical. Let's see where it hits me. Chest, okay. Let's see what it does. D6. 6. Okay, so again, this is going to do the D10, but it's a critical, so it's 2D10. Rolls a 2 and a 10. The 2, I'll pop this in again. The 2 is 1 point of damage, and the 10 is, so it does 5 points damage. That's 0. That's 8. It heals, so it's back to full health. And I'm gonna... Okay, so I stood up, so now it's my turn. I'm gonna flee. A 1. Whew. Okay. I pull back. And then what I would do is I would make camp. So let's figure that out again because it's been a little while. The rules, healing, death. Not going to use the optional rule of forgiving death. Get out of here. Resting and setting camp. Okay, let's bring that up. I'll bring up the book. That's under exploring Ker Nethalas. Resting and setting camp. Okay, so regardless of what sort of training you received before being cast into Ker Nethalas, you will sooner or later require a break. So you can just take a breather, which allows you to recover a D10 toughness, 1 health, and reduce your exhaustion by 2. Unfortunately, it reduces your light source by 5 and the tension die by 1 stage. I think in this case, depending on what my resources are, I would want to set camp because then I could get my ring back. Let's see. Once you decide you're done, so you got to barricade your camp. That's one thing you have to do. So let me bring out my character sheet because I don't know what resources I have. Let's maneuver this around a little bit. Okay, so barricading your camp requires a certain... And this is very much an old school thing. Maybe I talked about this before. Like, I'm in the Alcoholic Adventure Cabal, I'm in an old school essential game. And I think, like, spiking doors and stuff like that is something you can do. So barricade, you've seen what sort of horrors this place calls home, and the last thing you want to do is wake. For each crafting supply spent reinforcing the place, you gain 1 exhaustion, but you can add 5 to the camp check roll. I don't know if I have any crafting supplies. So the camping roll, you roll a d20. On a result of 10 or higher, everything's fine, and you've rested safely. A failure triggers a roll on the encounter table and reduces all the benefits of camping by half. So I can't... Yeah, I mean, I can't barricade. I can cook. Ooh, rations. I think I need to spend rations when I camp. Yeah, setting camp consumes 1 ration. So I do have the ration to spend. So what I could do for the camp activities is that I could cook. I could... What do bandages do? Is it something I can actually use in the middle of fight? Or is it something you can use in between fights to heal? It's not important for now. But what I'll do is I have a couple of bandages. I'm not going to worry about torches at the moment. I have candles still. So basically what I would do is I would cook. So I think the first thing I need to do is I need to roll on the D, and I'm looking for a 10 or higher. Sorry, looking for a 10 or higher. My voice is starting to go. Did I put something in here for camping? No, why would I? Just a D20 check. Okay, I don't get it. So, a failure triggers a roll on the encounter table and reduces all the benefits by half. Okay, rounding down. So I go to the encounter table. Where did I do that? Do they mean a combat encounter? See page 119. I'm a little nervous they mean a combat encounter. I'm hoping it's just something, you know, it's a combat encounter. Yeah, 119. Oh my goodness. Well, so how do you then... Okay. Okay, so then do I still get the benefits of camp rounded down and then I have to fight? Is that sort of what it's telling me? So like, let's see what, for cooking. For each 1 cooking ingredient you spend, you gain 1 ration. And it causes exhaustion. Reduces your camp check roll by 1. So I would have rolled an 8. Okay. Cooking. Yeah. But cooking, I've got... Oh, no, I don't have any rations. So... I guess, let's just say I get the ration. I'm going to reduce my cooking supplies by 1. And then... I'm going to... get the benefits. Okay, so regain all toughness loss. So this is what I need to cut in half. So I lost, where's my, I'm on the wrong page. Okay, so my toughness, I would have regained all my toughness, but instead I'm only going to get 8. Regain 1 health. I'm not going to get any health back. Regain sanity. How am I doing on sanity? So let me do a D4 check. 3, but it's rounded down, so I get 1 back. Okay. Reduce exhaustion by 10. Or reduce it by 5, so it's down to 0. And then now I guess I roll an encounter. Hive larvae. So let's figure out what's going on here. Penetrating, which is, you know, again, we've been dealing with that before. Let me just copy that over just to have it in. Again, I close the gaps. Basically, I hit delete to bring them right next to each other, and then I hit space to, you can see they're right next to each other. Then I hit space, then I just hit save, and then that makes it work. Okay, so that's what that is. Let's also, it's called a, what is this, a hive larvae? Display hovered by anyone. It's hostile. We're going to go to appearance. We're going to jack this up to a 2. We're going to update token. That way now we can drag this out. So let's see what this thing can do. It's got no armor. It's got a lot of health. Okay, let's read the description. Hive larvae squirm forth as writhing and repugnant grub-like monsters, loathsome creatures, with a collective hunger for all that exists. These creatures, each about the size of a cat, are covered in slimy, iridescent carapaces, I think. I've only seen the word. I don't think I've ever said it out loud. Pulsating with an unsettling luminescence that draws the eyes towards their eerie presence. Emerging from the hidden depths of their hive, they always appear in groups, moving as one, their synchronized movements and low, constant hum resonating through the air. They exhibit a macabre, hive-mind intelligence, acting with terrifying unity, and their ranks seem limitless. With relentless determination, they voraciously consume everything in their path, from the roots of ancient trees to unsuspecting creatures crossing their territory. They got a swarm bite. They surge forward in a seething mass, attempting to bite a target within reach. That makes a melee attack, dealing D4 piercing damage. I assume piercing damage ignores armor. I think we've dealt with that already. Must succeed on an endurance check or take ongoing D4 damage from acid. That, I think, because I did not take emissary level 2. Oh, no, that wouldn't have helped. That could straight up kill me. Or the combat ends. I guess if I fled. Luminescent distraction. The hive larvae emit a blinding burst of luminescence, attempting to distort nearby creatures. All creatures within the room must succeed on an endurance check or be blinded. Okay. And then finally, consume essence. The hive larvae extend their proboscises toward a target, attempting to drain its life force. The target must succeed on an endurance check. My endurance is crap, by the way. Or take D6 necrotic damage and have their toughness maximum reduced by the same amount until they finish, a rest. So there's a little typo. Because again, the F did not come through. The hive larvae gain temporary health equal to half the damage dealt. So, toughness maximum reduced. Is there a way to... Oh, yeah, you can just reduce the toughness maximum. But then, okay, so then the question is, could you write 16 out of... Like, how do you track what it used to be, I guess? I guess you just have to note that down somewhere. What's this damage modifier? Let me try this real quick. Is this, I guess what I'm trying to see is like, is this just a field to remember, or is this actually, can you put a D4? No. Okay. I see. So that's like if you get a +2. Got it. But can you roll damage though? Like what's the... This must just be some kind of reminder. Unless there's like a combat tab that I'm just missing. Tension die. Oh. Okay, you can track this here. Let's see. This is down to a D10 for lair. Tension die is down to a D6. Can you roll it here? Okay. Oh, then that's... I guess I never looked on... the Overseer is... Infernal Archon. Is this just a... Can I drag that over? Let's just see. Overseer's Infernal... Archon. Can I drag that? No. So you type Infernal Archon. And then the influence is this, Magebane. I feel badly. I'm going to forget the name of the person who I've linked to it in the show notes. The person who put together this module for this rule set did a great job. I just wanted to state that once again. I'm trying to remember what this rule set's called. Because I'm exhausted. The rule set is custom system builder. That's it. Okay. So here's the thing. Like the question. So here's the growing active. You can add. I will say this. I would probably, as you can see, like, let me see what happens if you roll 2. Does it go down? No. Oh, but it does say tension increases. Okay. Nice. I would, as you can see, I barely ever looked at page 4. I can tell you why I never looked. In Roll20, like the last tab is just like the formula. The formulas that they use to create the other pages. I don't know why I just never looked. There's just some hang up in my head. I would never think to go there, but that's probably a better system. Well, I like what I got going down here. If I could somehow make these, like if you could use like Monk's active triggers to like bring up a thing that sort of does the same thing here, but this is really good. I really should be taking better advantage of this page. It's really well done. Really nicely done, and it's good to see that. But I think what I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to stop. I'm not going to fight the hive larvae. Well, let me just see. It's my perception against its awareness. Its awareness is pretty low. 34 is a failure. 24 success. So I'm going to be attacked. Let's do a little bit of the fight. Let's just see how it goes. Basically, I'm kind of curious if it gets off that acid attack. Its combat skill is pretty poor. It's got no armor, but it's got a lot of health. There's no bonus hit location. So I'm the attacker. So let me start by doing one of these. Did I get my... How much ether do you get back when you camp? I'm not sure. I don't recall seeing that. Benefits of camp. It doesn't mention ether in the... Is there no way to get ether back? Oh, that seems crazy. If I do a search for ether, I'm going to get the phone book. That's the problem. So there's potions that help you recover ether. Is that the only way to get it back? Magic properties gives you max ether. Increase your max ether by properties once per encounter. So maybe there's a way to get with a weapon that gives you ether. Okay, so let's see. Ether is a representation of the character's spiritual and psychic power. It's used to cast spells as described on blah, blah, blah. You start with such and such. All ether is replenished upon entering a new room. Cool. Okay, so that's good to know. That's good to know. So I would have bumped it up when I went to the other room, which could have given me some whatevers, whatever. That's great. Okay, so this is my opening attack. I roll a 1. It's not great because it's pretty easy for this thing to defend itself, but it fails. Great. It has no weak spot, so there's no point in checking that. I'm going to roll damage. It has no armor, so that means both of my dice could help. 6 is going to do 2. I'll pop this in. 6 does 2 points damage. The D4 does a 2, which is 1. That's 3. Goes down to 5. Okay. It's going to attack me. Rolls a 20, which is a success. I'm going to defend with my bludgeoning weapons. But because I successfully attacked, I get a 10 bonus. 57, I succeed. Okay. I'm going to attack now. I get the 10 bonus. 82 is a miss. Let's see if it can open up a defensive move on me. It has to succeed on its roll. It does not. It fumbles, but we're not going to worry about that. I didn't succeed, so it's going to attack me. I get no bonus to my defense. It rolls an 80. That's a failure. I'm going to see if I can open up a defensive move on this thing. 22 is a critical. I don't remember what that... Oops. I'm going to do defensive move. If I were prone, paralyzed, blah, blah, blah. But otherwise, I get a plus 10 on my next attack. Okay, so I get a plus 20 on this attack. 62 is a success. Let's see if I can get a critical to defend itself. It does not. It succeeds, but not a critical. So I'm going to roll my damage. I do a 1, which is going to do 0, but 3 is going to do 1 point of damage, so it brings it down to a 4. It's going to attack. It's going to fail with a 96. I'm going to try and open up a defensive move. I get a 10 because I succeeded on my last attack. 59 is a success. Let's see the defensive move. Press your advantage. Okay. I'm going to attack. I get a 10. 84 is a miss. Let's see if it can... It's going to reduce its defensive roll by 20, so I'm going to make it tough to get a defensive move on me. 78 is a failure. Wouldn't have mattered anyway. Okay. So now its attack is a 99, a fumble. Let's see what that does. It's going to hit itself. Let's see if that's even possible with a D6 check. Rolls a 2, which is a... it's going to surge forward in a seething mass. This is the swarm bite. So it's going to do a D4 piercing damage on a hit. So it's going to hit. Let's do a D4 damage. Rolls a 3, which is worth 1 point of damage. So that's 3. It doesn't have any resistances, so it's going to take let's do an endurance check. Its endurance is not great. It rolls a 48, so I think this thing is actually going to kill itself. What I was kind of curious to see if it would do the acid damage to me. And then I would have narratively wrapped this up differently, but I think it's going to do it to itself. Okay. There's no chance for magical healing. Doesn't have a dodge roll, so I don't know if it would flee. So that's its attack. That's my attack. I'm the attacker, so I get a +10. That's kind of cool. I like that. That it just bit itself with acid and it's going to kill itself. Let's see if it can defend itself. It succeeds, but not anywhere near what I rolled. Okay. Going to roll damage. 6 and a 3. The 3 is going to be worth 1 point. The 6 is going to be worth 2 points for 3 points total. And it's gone. Okay. I'm going to give myself another 50 points of XP, so I'm up to 130. It's the resources table. I'm going to get crafting supplies. That's what you need to barricade, I think. So let me add that to my page. Nope. Oh, here you can track. Okay. Although I feel like I've looked at this. Perks. I don't know what perks. Okay, so I'm going to get 1 crafting supply. Yeah. And this goes down. So I'm going to stop here. This has been great, but I think the thing, and I'll be curious to see how it is in Across 1,000 Dead Worlds. So there's sort of like these competing things. Like, I like the idea of like this thing could just go on forever. It's whenever you want to pull it out, you could pull it out and you could play it. I think what I wish is that it was more likely for you to get through a domain in an afternoon. You know, we're not even close to finding the lair. And then after you find the lair, there, you know, it still takes, you know, it could take a while to find the domain exit itself, right? Because once this clocks down to a D4 and drops down to nothing, you still have the D8 to go through. And, you know, it's not guaranteed that you burn through that anytime soon. It's more likely by a bit, but so I could see, you know, I've been playing this for, you know, about 4 or 5 hours in total. And granted, I talk a lot. You know, I probably slow things down. I don't know. But maybe it would be just as slow, like drawing, mapping, you know, doing the physical components. Who can say? And so I think I'm left with these conflicting feelings. I'm left with really enjoying everything about it and wishing I could get through the domain in, like, know that I could get through the domain in like 2-3 hours. Because I'm not a huge solo player. Like, so here's the thing, like, say, and so I don't, because I'm not like a huge solo player, I want to jump around, I want to try different things, and this game doesn't necessarily lend itself to trying it. The starter domain does, but you don't get, you know, the full effect. You're not getting all the monsters. And so what I think I would do, and so this is where playing with Foundry then becomes an advantage. Because if you roll a random dungeon, save scene in the background. If you roll a random dungeon if I could remember how to do it. You could say like, I don't know, maximum room count. Let's make it 12. So you generate, this is a bit of a mess. One thing, so let me just start by saying this. I use something called lock view. And I do that to make it pretty, but I'm wondering if it screws up. How it draws the dungeon. Like, you can move it over here and then it's, like, does it always start in the upper left and fill out? That's what I'm wondering. So let's say I was going to generate a dungeon. Height, width. I don't know what any of this means. I probably should. Say 70, 70. Room count 15, maximum room size. Because room sizes don't matter. So there you got yourself like a nice little you know, got yourself a little dungeon. You know, once you figure out how to use the thing, you got, you know, and let's say you start here. Whoops, let me ping. So let's say you start here. And you don't know. I think somebody suggested maybe what you do is you do, or you set, you know what, you set up like, you just make a huge dungeon, right? You just make it gargantuan. And so let's try that. You make the thing gargantuan. Let's generate a huge dungeon. Height, 180, width. I don't know if this is going to work. 180. Room count, 40. Okay. That's a little better, right? I mean, maybe it's not. You generate this massive dungeon. And the reason why you do it is you then... Let me get rid of these tiles. We don't need any of this stuff. Tiles, let's get rid of all of them. You know what? I'll undo that in a second. But let's get rid of the writing. Can I undo that? Can I just delete that one? Because what you can do is you can then, you get this massive thing, right? And you can start, say, here, because it worked out, up here on the left. And then you do your typical layer checks, right? The chances of you getting to the end are whatever. But what you can do is you can make, if you don't drop that layer check, because that's the thing, if you get lucky, that thing just plummets and you're out before you realize it. But if you don't, you can just say, okay, the next to last room that I'm in is the layer, and then the final room is the exit, right? You can just sort of work it out that way. And so you know, like, okay, this is what I got to work with. It will definitely end, you know, and you can sort of set it however you want. So like, if you're like, I only got a couple hours, let me make it like a 15-room dungeon similar to, or 12 or whatever, like the starter domain is, right? And you can sort of pattern it like that. And then you can sort of measure your experience. As written, the mechanics can make it long. Or you could just say like, I'm done. Let's just call this the layer, right? Because again, you're playing a solo game. You can make whatever you want. But if you're doing the mechanics as the mechanics are presented, it could really stretch out. But again, there is nothing stopping you. I could say like, okay, this is the layer. Screw it. I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like I've got 10 tiles on there. Let's just say but then I would hesitate only because I know, given what this layer die is, that it's not meant to be that short. If again, you know, so then if I might as well have just generated the dungeon randomly. So anyway, let's clear this dungeon. let's move these tiles back into the middle so we can get an idea of how we ended. Yeah. I don't know if that makes any sense. All I'm trying to say is that, like, you could just be like, you could just say I'm done. But at least with Foundry, then, you know, go into it with the knowledge I want it to be this, and then you just generate a dungeon. But if you start this way and just be like, oh my God, like, okay, screw this, I'm done. That feels different. That feels like the player got, like, frustrated and wanted to disengage. So yeah, that's the one thing that's jumped out at me. And I think part of that is that combats can go, at least because I'm a low level. Well, but that's the thing. Combats seem like they can go for a while. I was gonna say that's because I'm a low level. I don't have a lot of equipment. But then once you gain levels, the monsters get tougher. So I don't know how that all balances out, if it ever gets faster, or if I just have like a human fighter build is weak sauce. And I wasn't using ether. Well, I didn't have stuff to spend ether on until recently, but now knowing that it replenishes every room, that's useful to know. It could make a magic caster much more powerful, I guess. Anyway. Yeah, so this has been Ker Nethalas. You know, for everything I was just saying, you know, I was just trying to, you know, I'm just trying to think of things that jumped out at me during my experience. But in the end, like, I really, really liked it. And if I were playing it co-op, I wouldn't care about the length. Like, I could see, like, on a rotation, you know, like, you know, rotation could be 5, 6, 7 sessions, whatever it is. Do the starter domain in 2. I think now, like, because I've played this, if I were to do it as a rotation with Matt and Patrick, I would ask them if they just want to jump in and we just do a real one. I could see, like, a full domain if you get a little bit unlucky with the layer checks and then subsequently the domain exits. Like, I could see one domain taking the whole rotation, you know, 6 sessions, like 10 hours, you know, whatever. I could see it. I could see just the time, you know, sort of going quickly, and I think we'd have a blast. But I wonder how they would feel about it, because it took me a domain and change to gain a level, and so, well, I mean, but you're fighting more, but it's hard to say. I'd be curious, but that's the thing. Like, I could see the progress coming slowly, so I feel like this could become just a game that, if you really got into it, could be like the game you solo for a really long time, the way people might just play Diablo, or I don't know, or I'm blanking on the there's a really popular roguelite. Anyway, so this has been Black Lodge Trivia Night. I've been Art. I've been having a great time playing Ker Nethalas. I hope this has given you some insight into how it plays. I hope that it's shown how much fun it can be, and that, you know, like, the things that are jumping out at me, or maybe you're seeing something, you're like, yeah, I don't know, that you then think about, oh, I could tailor it this way or that way, because I genuinely think it's a lot of fun and worth checking out. So I'm going to start looking at Across 1,000 Dead Worlds. Yeah, what a title, huh? Artwork's great, but, like, what a title, because that's the to quote Douglas Adams, like, you know, not exactly, but the idea is, like, space is really, really big, right? And so the idea that, yeah, just going out there and there's just 1,000 dead worlds you can explore, it's just because of the setup, I like the premise so much. But anyway, thank you for checking this out. You know, I think we're going to be back. I think next is going to be Patrick's out for our next recording session. And I think Matt wanted to try some liminal horror. Maybe I was mentioning that already. So I'm really looking forward to that. I've never played it. I also have to go prep for a One Ring 2nd edition for the Alcoholics Adventure Cabal. I got to go get that ready because it's been so long that I forgot half the rules, as I'm wont to do. Thank you again. If you are watching this, you found our YouTube channel, like and subscribe if you want to follow this. We also do I know it's a lot of me, but I've been doing a playthrough of the book quests in Lord of the Rings Online. I've been doing the DLC of Elden Ring. I've been doing some Dragon's Dogma 2, but that's on the burner until I get through the DLC of Elden Ring. We have a Twitch channel. Sometimes we stream over there. Matt was doing some Dark Souls Unga Bunga, which is just a strength melee build, two-handed all in. Sometimes I try and do the Lord of the Rings book quests over there as well. Mostly, though, we're a tabletop RPG actual play podcast. We also have most months an RPG discussion topic podcast. You can watch them here, or if you prefer audio versions, just search for Black Trivia Night wherever you get your podcasts, and we should show up if you want to like, subscribe, whatever over there as well. We appreciate it. If you want to jump into our Discord, we talk about tabletop RPGs, CRPGs, all sorts of dumb stuff. We try and arrange games that the summer's gotten bad, but I'm going to see about, maybe once the summer's done, finishing up the Dragonbane adventure we were starting to get some people a taste of what it's like. But yeah, we'll be back. The rotation, Eat the Reich with Patrick. We'll be doing that pretty soon. More the Cold War spy espionage game that I'm running. Matt's got some either Fall of Delta Green or Delta Green on deck for when his turn comes up. And yeah, really looking forward to it. So thanks again. Hope everybody's doing well, and take care. Bye-bye. The music during the RPG session in Foundry was provided by the Foundry module Tabletop RPG Music and composed by Ian Fisher. You can find his Patreon at www.patreon.com/tabletop RPG music, all one word.